Hello.
Good evening, everybody.
Hi, Lane. Hi, Chris. Hi, Dan.
Well, hello, everybody. Nicholas, hello, hello.
Hello,
And
everybody.
Chris, and hello, Ricky.
Had to get myself some coffee.
Ah, yes, indeed.
Where's that?
Liquid love for the evening. Also, liquid love in the morning. Hello, Diane.
Hi, Diane. I have puppies.
Yes, you do. That's because Dad finished the pizza.
God dang.
Yeah,
Here.
that's the Harley tail. You've heard of Veggie Tales? This is the Harley tail.
Get your nose.
And of course, the green.
Oh my God, they're actually pushing me backwards.
That's
That's what I get for being on a hard floor with. Hello, girls. Yes. Okay. Okay. Enough kiss. Enough kisses. Thank you. Come on. Move. Move so I can pull in. That
funny.
was our new puppy, guys.
Hello. Come here, girls. Yeah, I know. Leave mommy be for a minute.
How's your channel going, Diane? She's got a cooking channel, Jace.
Oh, cool.
We should get her up on your channel.
we might.
Do a collab.
Hello. Yes. Yes. Everybody can see you now with Dad instead of with Mom. They're wanting attention because it's like being on the phone.
Yeah.
So, Lions are playing tonight. Yeah. Rub it in, lady. Thanks. Actually, I should give them some kudos for several decades. They've been the laughing stock of the NFC North, and Lord Almighty, they are hell on wheels this year. So definitely blew the snot out of the Bears. That's for sure. Where did Mom go?
I'm here.
Why are you hiding?
Didn't realize I was.
You turn your camera off.
It's saying it lost connection to the camera. I may have to drop out for a second. I don't know.
Ruh-roh. Oh,
Look,
back for a second. There
there we
she
go.
is.
I'm back.
I'm still country. I thought you were Mr.
The one is my husband, Diane, and the other one is my son.
These are boys. Damn. I appreciate that, ma'am. Thank you very much. No, we are about to enter the 4 month period where I get to tell Misty that I will respect my elders.
Hi, Christina. Yeah, you got to understand. There's exactly 4 months between us, guys. My birthday's
Day.
January. His is May.
Yep, to the day. Mama's is coming up this week, and I get to wait until everything's green.
Yeah.
Actually, if everything comes together tomorrow night, she may have her wish that she's wanted for the last 5 6 years. Snuff on her birthday.
The look on her face.
It
That's
was
what she
actually
said.
nice. We actually got rain today.
Yeah, melted a little bit more of everything. Hey, Christina. Sorry, I did not say hello.
So,
Yeah, we're still waiting for some more people to get in here, and then we'll start
Actually,
in on our topic.
I'd go ahead and announce it. Announce what the hoo-ha we're doing now.
Well, do you want to announce it?
No, it's your channel. When we're doing the joint channel, then yeah, I'll jump in a little bit more forcefully. But this is your channel.
Yeah, Christina has a cooking channel as well, Jason.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Oh wow, does that ever pick up the puppy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, she's very vocal, guys. So if you hear weird noises, that's probably her. Oh, nice, Elaine. You got the whole gauntlet. Yeah, we're just going to talk about some stuff to do with what's going on currently.
New stuff, things that we've been working on.
And how people can kind of protect themselves. Hi, Dan.
Well, thank you. I say I'm
Hello,
lonely
Dan.
all the time, Dan.
Welcome.
Hey, Danny. Well, you're going to leave me to do it, aren't you?
Sure.
of course.
Gosh. All right. Well, in that case, hang on for 1 second. I'll be right back.
Hello.
Why does it? Okay, never mind. This new StreamYard is confusing the heck out of me. There's way too many new features in it.
All right. So, last time we were talking about some of the things that we have been doing to become a little more self-sufficient. Whether you're in town or whether you're out in the country, there's going to be times when you're going to be without power, without heat, and other things. One of the things that you run into out here rurally when you're working off of a well is when the power goes, you have no pump. So we are working on, and in one of the future shows, I will actually, once I've got the shop cleaned up a little bit, we'll do a little trip out to the shop, and I will show you how to construct a handmade well pump, manual well pump that you can do using PVC, garden hose, and backflow pumps. Be careful if you start going off and looking at YouTube videos on how to do this. One word of advice: be very careful when you are selecting your garden hose, because you need to check and shop for garden hoses that give you drinkable drinking water. Believe it or
Hi,
not.
Doris.
Believe it or not. Hey, Doris. Most of the water hoses that are out there nowadays are chemically set so that you cannot drink from them. It's not healthy to drink from. So you need to specifically look for one that gives you drinkable water. And it gets even more fun if you have a deep well, over 100 feet deep, because it's harder to find those where you will have to couple more than one together. But I digress. One of the things you can do,
Good night, Annie.
if you know that you are going to be out of power, or if you know that there's a good chance you're going to be out of power, is one of these things that we got, which is called Tub Bob. I think it is. Water Bob, sorry. And basically what this is a huge 100-gallon bladder that you set in your bathtub, and you fill it up with water in your bathtub, and then using the pump here and the hose, you can fill pitchers, you can fill bottles, you can fill glasses, whatever, out of your tub, and you've got 100 gallons worth of tub water that you can use. If you're in a situation where you have more than one bathroom, that will still leave you with a tub you can stand in to wash off in. So that's the big thing for tonight is if you are in a position where you are potentially going to be left without water, if you're running off of a well, look into something water pump. You can get this off of Amazon. Wasn't terribly expensive. And again, just think, last time you were without power, if you don't have something like this,
Yeah, we're not affiliated with any Amazon links or anything, guys, but any of the stuff that we'll talk about, I'll try and put links to it on the video after it's done.
My camera just did the same thing.
Sorry, Richard?
Sorry, not to interrupt. My camera did the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, guys. Like, it keeps trying to kick me off. So if we disappear, that's why. Like, our thoughts with everything that's been going on over the last year, with all the power outages, all the storms, it's never too late to have some, even if it's minor things in place, just so you're protected.
No.
As far as like your water, your food supply, you can cook on a candle if you have to.
And that's the link for the water bottle.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to look at it. One of the other things we're going to do is Ricky pointed out, and maybe we'll have him do it one of these times, is a very cheap
flashlight.
A very cheap and simple heater that you can make using tea lights and a flower pot. A terracotta flower pot.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, so to the chat, I already showed this to everybody else on camera. To the chat, this is just a regular flashlight. Here, let me
Yeah, it's upside down.
Yep. No, it's not the latest in vibrators.
No. But it has 4 different settings. If that says anything.
Well,
Hi, Kelly.
Hey, Kelly.
This guy was about $40. And
Yeah,
it comes with 2 different compartments. This is actually a rechargeable battery pack. It also comes with the same container for batteries, and it takes AA's. The thing is, it takes 12.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, sleepless. Here, I'll point it at the ground. It's 5,000 lumen. My kid has the lights off in the house because he's watching a scary movie.
Yeah, he's watching Beetlejuice, guys.
So the reason you're able to see me is because of the screen glow. Otherwise, it would be completely dark. But yeah, that's one of the better purchases that I picked up, and I can go outside and light up my entire complex and piss off a few neighbors in the process.
Yeah. I just want to comment on something Christina said a second ago, Richard.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Christina, because one of the big things, especially this time of year with the cold that we're getting and stuff, is
Yeah.
to be able to have one area in your home that you can heat up. Even if it's just like to like 40 degrees, somewhere above freezing. Because there's
Somewhere
so
where
many
you can
people.
throw a bed or something.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's always good to have extra blankets and stuff.
And I'm sure if you've been on Facebook, you've seen the ads from things like My Patriot Supply and For Patriots, where they're talking about the power outages and the solar generators and everything else. Well, one of the things, depending on how long you're going to be out, is you'll be relying on your cell phone. So one of the things you might want to do is take a look at this little gadget here, which I got from My Patriot Supply, and it comes in packs of 3. And basically, what this is a light. Pardon that. It is also a charger for. I don't know if you can see that or not. 2 different devices. Those are USB connections, so you can charge your phone up. I have done this and charged both Misty's and my phone to full capacity off of this one charger. And as you might notice, there's solar panels on the back. So when the power comes back on, just stick this out in the sun and it'll recharge the batteries itself.
Yeah, it is, Elaine. It's solar.
Yeah.
So even if you've got like a week worth of not having power, you can still charge it.
And here's the other option as well. I've got something similar. 2 batteries or 2 plugs.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is just a regular, charge it up. But this is 13,000 milliamps.
Mm-hmm.
And it will take my phone and my wife's phone from dead to fully charged in 10 minutes.
And
Nice.
This is another one that I got for Misty and I. It's just a little emergency flashlight. It's on with LEDs. I won't flash it completely in your eyes, but you get the idea. It's also a nice safety thing for you ladies that are having to walk around by yourself after dark. That strobe light is really, really freaking bright.
And like if you're in a situation where somebody's attacking you, that strobe light can actually blind them enough that you have a chance to get away.
Yep. And I'll tell you something else. Is you've heard old folks talk about carrying a roll of dimes or a roll of nickels in their pocket that they use to solidify their punch. This fits nicely into your hand. So if you've got to go after somebody, put that in your hand and smack them. They'll back off.
You could do much similar with what Richard has, the light that he has.
Oh, this thing?
Yeah, you could use it for protection as well.
This thing weighs about, I would say, a good pound and a half. But it's, I don't know if you could hear it. It's not plastic.
Yeah, that's heavy-duty aluminum sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, if I were to drop this on my foot, it would hurt quite a bit.
Yeah.
But it's just the right size that if you need to, you can use it as a freaking baton. If you don't blind them completely outright with just flashing the light in their face.
Yeah. And one of these times, once I get the generator fully set up and everything going in the garage, we'll do a quick little walkabout with that so you guys can see how that works.
Do a test run on it. Make sure
Oh,
that
that's nice, Doris. Doris has a lamp that does the plug-in for cell phones and stuff.
nice.
Yep. Yeah, I got Misty one that'll do that. But again, these ones are battery, so they're basically there. Once you start wearing your cell phone down and you've still got no power, plug
Mhm.
those bad boys back in, and you're right back up again. So
Yeah.
it'll keep you going for a while.
Yeah. And the other thing I would suggest, guys, is have a supply of canned goods and dry goods.
Yep.
Regardless of your situation, especially if you're in somewhere like an apartment, dedicate one closet to stuff. Exactly, Doris. Because if there's a power out situation, guys, for a long enough period, you can figure you're not going to have access to your money. You're not going to have access to gas. Obviously, if you're on a well like us, or even in the city, you're not going to have water
Well, you might have water. It depends.
for a little while.
Yeah, it depends. So,
Yeah, like as a whole, our society is so dependent on the grid. You think about it, you use electricity every day, constantly, day in, day out. And if you can have some stuff to make yourself feel a little bit more prepared, a little bit more confident, you're not going to have the panic
yeah.
that sets in, because that's what's dangerous is the panic and the fear of what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of thing. Like I
like obviously this stuff is not. Some of this would be useful for the situation in Los Angeles. If you can grab your solar chargers, and that's one of the things you bug out with.
Thank you, Christina.
That's fine. But the generator and a lot of the other stuff for emergencies like that, it's not going to help a whole heck of a lot. You need to have a different setup for that. Hello, Eddie. And what I would recommend is to keep the preppers call it a bug out bag, but it's not a bad idea.
I'm still waiting to get the funds together to grab mine.
You keep a bag or a tote in the house that's got the basic meds that you'll need, a couple of changes of clothes, a little bit of food, a little bit of water.
Yeah, Christina, I think you do need electric to start the gas light. I'm not sure.
What now?
All you need is flame to light the pilot.
Yeah.
So you don't need electricity to run it.
No.
Okay.
Maybe the pump inside it, if there is one, but I don't know.
Like I know our
if you're on
fireplace would be useless because
if you're on natural gas, that will run without electricity.
Yeah,
so
you'll just need a lighter or something.
Yeah, the thing you want to make sure of is that the pilot light doesn't go out, because if the pilot light goes out, it's still spitting a little bit of gas out. So if the pilot light goes out, you're going to start filling your apartment or your Jen, or your house or whatever, your camper, whatever.
Yeah.
Gas, and God forbid when you a lighter or something after that, boom.
Very true, Evie.
But it can also kill you. So there's also another thing we're going to have. At one of these points, I'll pop it up on video. If you've got a pond as a nearby water source or a creek, there's a guy who actually made a no power, wind driven pump for you put it down in any creek or pond or anything else. Just don't have it sink down in the mud. So, if you've got like a little flat stone or something like that, or a sandy or pebble area, put it down in that.
And like I said, guys, we'll put links to the stuff we're talking about if we can find one.
Yep. So as stuff pops up, we'll find it, save the links, and present them to you guys as we go along. So.
Yeah, one of the things that we have that, again, is reliant on external fuel is our Coleman heater. Or what is it called?
Kerosene.
Yeah, the kerosene. It's still reliant on outside source, but it works in a pinch. It'd work for a little while.
Yeah, just make sure if you work with one of those kerosene heaters, the ones nowadays you want to look for are the ones that you can run off of the clean K1 kerosene. Sorry, excuse me. With those, if you crack a window, you don't have to have a big thing open, but if you crack a window, you can actually run the kerosene heater. We run ours in the kitchen, and it will heat the core of the house for over the course of 9 hours on 1 gallon to approximately 78 degrees. Now, one of the things that we've done with adding the generator is you can't run the heat pump. It's not strong enough to do that, but you can turn the fan on the air handler on. And what will happen is it will draw that heat down the hall into the returns and then pump heat out throughout the rest of the house.
And of course, you'll lose heat as it goes through.
So,
but it's
better
still,
than nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is what we were dealing with when the heater wasn't working here.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and maybe not this week, but next week I'll have Misty show you one of her birthday presents that she got for staying warm for her chair in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I will be right back. I'm going to step out.
Okay.
It's a unique blanket that I found that actually wraps up and over like a shawl, and then the bottom part of it wraps around like having a small throw blanket on your legs, but it also will cover your hips and your waist as well. So
yeah, Evie just mentioned something, a little wood heater that you can run off of deadfalls. Like, that sounds interesting, actually.
Yep. When I get the equipment and the time, and this won't work for everybody, but you can probably find them somewhere. I'll have to look and see if there's a place where you can buy them. You can actually turn a 55-gallon drum into a wood stove. That takes
a lot of skill.
Takes not so much skill, but it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of patience. So it's something that you would do. Also, in this spring, once I get back outside and I get the old one torn down, I'm going to build a new, and we'll show you that one, rain catchment system using 3 food grade 55-gallon drums in sequence.
And you can actually do that, set it up so it filters the water too.
With natural filters, so that you can put it up a little bit on a stand and use gravity to water your plants and fill any water buckets. Now with that, you'll want to have some water purifier tablets.
Yeah.
Because that's not going to be really great water. That's going to have some nasty in it from your gutters and whatnot.
It actually, I can't remember where it was I saw it, but there was somewhere I saw that you can use stuff like baking soda and other things that you have in your kitchen most times
charcoal,
Purified water.
charcoal and sand, mostly.
Charcoal and sand, but there's other stuff as well that you can use in a pinch.
Yeah. So, and then of course Misty's going to go into herbs as we get into the spring, and we'll start showing you
Yeah,
some
Evie,
of the
that's one of the
planting
things
out there.
we want to kind of talk about. That set of books that we got, Jace, the old timers,
Uh-huh.
different things. I want to put links to those in the videos too, because there's a lot of stuff that air quote pioneer days our
Welcome back,
ancestors
Doris.
used to do all through history that we've gotten away from,
Yep.
that are so simple and so basic, but it can make 100% difference between whether you survive or not.
Yeah. And also whether you're comfortable or not. I mean, let's face it, nobody likes being without power, because you're without power. Generally, you're without the internet as well.
Mm-hmm. And let's face it, this day and age, people go stir crazy without it.
Yeah. But one of the things we're going to do is we're also going to show you, some games and some puzzles and things that you can do and use and get the kids involved with when you don't have power. So, and that's unfortunately that's going to be Misty's going to develop a tick because she doesn't like board games. So, been trying for a while, so y'all can help me encourage her to start giving board games a chance.
Yeah.
So,
We'll see.
yeah.
But yeah, like there's all kinds of stuff. And like with the herbal, as a lot of you already know, I did a course in herbalism. And a lot of the stuff that I've learned can be used every day. Because the other thing, guys, if we're in a grid down situation, is pharmacies are not going to be available. They're just not. And the hospitals are going to be so overwhelmed. Like everything's just going to go crazy because, number one, no worries, Elaine. I understand. Like you think about it, grid down, first thing that happens, everybody panics. It's proven. We've seen it with everything that's happened with the pandemic, with North Carolina, California. We need to start thinking as a society of ways that we can band together, not be separate, and help each other. Because that's the only way, if it's an extended grade down for any reason, we're going to survive. Is if we pool resources and information. We can't gatekeep. We need to start looking out for each other. I love puzzles, Evie. I have a cat, though, that likes to knock the puzzle pieces all over the place.
Unfortunately, yes.
Mm-hmm. And it's amazing. Like, it occurred to me the other day, we were talking about this type of stuff. And I realized we've been stockpiling food for ourselves and looking out for ways to do water and have light. You know, the one thing we didn't think of
What's
are
that?
animals.
How so?
We haven't figured out, like, we haven't got a stockpile of stuff for the dogs or the cat.
That's
Or any
true.
of that, which we've got to work on. And like, there's always going to be stuff. Let's face it, we're a world of conveniences. So do you guys in chat have any ideas on stuff that you would do in a grid down? And there is no wrong answer. anything and everything that you can think of is a help. Like, for example, if you've got neighbors that you know that are senior, for example, or aren't able to get out and help themselves, is there a plan? Like, do you guys know your neighbors? Do you realize if there's something wrong? Like, it was heartwarming to see what happened in North Carolina. How people from all over the country banded together to help the ones that were in danger and needed just even the basics, food and clothing and a roof over their head. Oh wow, Doris. Yeah, it's challenging because yes, it may, if it's like, for example, 10 hours. Yes, it's inconvenient. Yes, it's nerve-wracking trying to figure stuff out. But like Doris said, you go longer than a couple of days, you start, hi Scott, you start running into issues like Doris with the heat. Jason's asthmatic. He doesn't tolerate the heat very well.
No.
No, you
So,
have all the time here then.
yeah. But I mean, like, it's things like that. Like, yes, you can use ice, you can dampen claws and stuff, and it'll cool you down. But what happens once that ice melts? You're kind of, that's what I'm getting at. You need practical things. And not everybody is a wizard in the shop. Not everybody is going to have access to the same things. So that's where I'm asking if you guys have other ideas. If we brainstorm, it helps everybody. And Matt's not here. He's a good one for coming up with ideas. And I'll link, like I said, I'll be Johnny on the spot with trying to get links to different channels. Because there are a lot of channels that, yes, we may not all agree with their outlooks on things, but they do have good points. Like I put a link in my community tab, guys, to a video that is very, I think it has some good points. Yeah, Doris, the fire pit, those are good ideas because you can actually, Scott, it's just coming up with ways like in a brownout, any of those type of situations, or where we're isolated, things that we can do to just kind of help the situation. Sort of thing. It's not, we're not on a specific topic per se. But it's something I've noticed, like up in our community, it's sad to say we don't know our neighbors. We know very few of them, and they don't know us. So if something was, for example, to happen to Jason and I, yes, we have our children, but they're in different states. So they wouldn't necessarily realize if something happened. Granted, they call every day, so.
No.
Not every day.
But
At
I
least
mean,
once or twice a week.
yeah, like there's a lot of people out there in our situation where either they live alone or they're isolated for whatever reason. So, and like I know working with seniors, because I was CNA for a lot of years, they don't like asking for help.
No, they're stubborn.
But I mean, like, even if you notice like a yard getting overgrown, and they used to be Johnny on the spot about the upkeep of their property, if you could I know it's out of everybody's comfort zone for a lot of people. Go and see what's wrong. Go see if they need help.
Yeah.
Go mow their, like we had a gentleman come over and clear our driveway during this last snowstorm. We didn't even know he was there until after the fact. We don't know who did it, but somebody came and cleared our driveway for us. Exactly, Elaine. There are some times where that's not going to work. But I mean, like, if you could just do something for somebody, even just to make them smile, give compliments, ask how their day is going, just to kind of get that community thing going again.
Yeah. Not to cut it short on my end, but Nicole's possibly coming home for dinner. So
Okay.
I'm going to whip something out for her real quick. She's requested diced and seasoned potatoes.
Ooh, that sounds good.
So
We had leftover pizza.
You got rosemary as a spice.
oh yeah, like we've got most of it.
Do it with garlic, rosemary. If you've got some seasoned salt, use that, and a little bit of pepper.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to do it up.
Maybe a little paprika just for color.
Right.
Yeah.
Have a good night, guys. And
Okay, love you.
Yeah. Love you guys. Bye.
But yeah, like I'm not trying to harp on everybody. Everybody has their own reasons for doing what they do. But I mean, like watching what happened in North Carolina, it just made me aware of how little contact there usually is, unless it's an emergency. And again, I'll say it and I'll keep saying it until I'm blue in the face. It was amazing how people pulled together. It really was. And there's a lot of people out there that will not ask for help. Yeah, Doris, we've been getting a lot of outages here. Like we have an older forest situation here, so, and like the roots with the clay and everything can't get very deep. Exactly, Scott. Like it's gotten to the point where, like, and I'm not trying to shame anybody. I'll bring up a good point. We were online, Jason and I, a lot up until what, 3-4 months ago, roughly. There was very few people that, in all honesty, reached out to us. Hey, Mary, to see what was going on or to see if there was an issue or anything. And everybody has their own lives. But it was just surprising how few people actually, and I'm not just saying online. I'm saying like family members. And we need to kind of work on that a bit. We need to start being less of an isolationist society and more of a, I guess, tree hugger, love your neighbor type of thing. You don't have to like somebody to help them. But so what do you guys do? Like I said before, what do you guys do in a situation where like your power's out or you don't have water or something like that? Yeah. Yeah, Lane. Because you think about it, in the past, how did they survive before there was electricity? A lot of the systems that were in place relied on barter, where, for like example, you had eggs, you had chickens. So therefore that gives you meat and eggs. And also, believe it or not, guys, the feathers can be used for stuffing blankets, pillows, etc., to keep you warm. Like there's all kinds of purposes for stuff, but they used to trade that. Like if somebody had an ability to build houses, for example, they would trade that ability for something that they needed. Yeah, Mary, like we all do what we can do.
And I'll tell you now, there's I chuckle, but it's not a laughing matter. Um, the homeless folks in the wintertime will take, and you may have seen it on the day after, I think was the movie, or the morning after. Excuse me, with Dennis Quaid, um, where his son gets stuck. The Earth is going through this new ice age, and his son gets stuck in New York. And there's a homeless guy in there, and they're putting on layers, which is what we've always been trained to do. Layer up, layer up, layer up. Interesting thing, the homeless guy takes newspaper. And it doesn't have to be newspaper, it can be any paper. But he wads it up and stuffs it inside his clothes. And that's how a lot of the homeless folks use and make their own insulation for their clothing as well. And that does work. I've tried it. It's you'll crinkle a lot. You're not going to be silent walking around. You'll sound like a a giant crumpled ball of paper. But again, it is something that does work. So yeah, Kim, having a room in a basement with foods for emergencies, especially if you are in one of those areas that is liable to have tornadoes. Not necessarily a great thing to do if you're in an area that does hurricanes, as that's going to flood. But for hurricanes, yes. So,
And guys, a lot of people think because they're in an apartment situation, they can't do stuff like that. You can set aside a tote, you can set aside a closet. And for some of the stuff I'm going to get into in my videos about the natural remedies, you don't have to even do some of those until you actually need them. So
I got another shocker for you. We will have in short order, maybe on the next show. Though we have not done it here, we don't really have a good place that we can do this here. So we're going to go big or go home. But
can I address something first, Chase?
Sure.
Christina, they'll have stores open only for so long. Because if there's a grid down situation, there will be no more food delivered. Once the gas supply runs out, what's there in the stores? That's what we're trying to say, is you can't rely on what's in those stores.
Or you could say the same thing, not even with the power going out. Wasn't that long ago that we had a strike for the truckers. And you didn't notice it. There were holes on the shelves in a lot of places because of that. We had a situation in Baltimore. Baltimore is not that far from us. It is one of the main ports that supplies this area with goods and consumables. And we had a ship that ran into the bridge over the Baltimore that leads in and out of the Baltimore harbor and collapsed the bridge down into the harbor, or at least a good section of it, and it shut the harbor down. for over a month. I believe it was actually about 3 months before they got a channel open that was wide enough to be able to bring in the big ships. Little ships could go through, but that wasn't crap. They had to reroute them. And it's things like that can and will happen.
Yeah.
One of the things we're gonna show you a video on is how to build a hydroponics tower that you can have in your living room. You just have to put a grow light on it, but you can grow your own uh, salad.
Actually, you wouldn't even have to have a grow light. You could use a window.
Well, again,
Yeah.
in a house like ours, we don't have an area where that's convenient.
Hmm.
There isn't a place. Every window is spoken for,
Yeah.
with the exception of the spare bedroom.
Yeah.
um, so you can do this. You can do it with a simple fish tank pump.
Yeah.
Is all it takes, and a grow light, and the rest of it. You're going to put nutrients. There's a nutrient solution that you put into the water. Um, I don't know. I'll be honest with you, Kim. I haven't watched it. Or I'm sorry, Sleepless. I haven't watched it in a little while. Um, so I don't know for a fact whether it's sugar. I know that there's a nutrient solution that they use, that they talk about when you're starting up a hydroponics situation. And there's one we were looking at, which is a step beyond. We may still play with it. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know how
They're
crazy.
talking about starting a fire with sugar.
Oh, starting a fire with sugar.
Hmm.
Um,
I've never seen it myself. So, Kim, that's going to be something that I might have you up to show us
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
because that is interesting. But as far as not having the supplies, Elaine, that's true. A lot of people aren't in a situation where they can grow their own. But what I'm trying to put together is stuff like everybody tends to have oregano. They have honey, just basic stuff, or onions. Those can all be used for medicinal as well as cooking. But yeah, it's like we're going to work on it, and I'll probably be talking to you about it, Elaine, get your feedback as far as doing stuff. And that's the other thing, guys. I'm gonna try and get some people up on my channel to interview them and to talk to you guys about different basic things, simple things.
Yep. If
I'm
you've
not
got one of
talking
these,
about stuff that's going to cost a fortune.
yeah, if you've got one of these, if you've got a hack that works,
Yeah, put it in the comments.
there was one I saw today, um, that where you can make your own miniature air conditioning unit that you can use to air condition an entire room. And
Air filter? Is that the one you're talking about?
no.
Oh, okay.
This was one where a guy took the filter pipe off of a water heater, I believe it was, and it starts with that pipe, which narrows down into a smaller thing, and then he took a small copper pipe and actually wound it around his his electric drill. So he made a cone of that, and then welded the right things into the right place, and used a large computer fan on a calculator base, the front plate of a calculator base, where he had a 9-volt battery hooked in, and he sucked the air out with a syringe and then turned around and refilled the void with butane. Closed it up and put the water into it, and then started the pump that he had with it, and it pumped through. And I'm screwing it up because like I said, I've seen it once. But basically, you can watch the entire copper coil iced over, and the fan was blowing the air around. Speaking of ways to cool off, there's a way where you can do that 100%
Sorry, Jay.
without power. What?
I'm just reading what Mary put in there, and that's amazing.
What's that?
I'm so glad that you were able to help. She's talking about a person that got burned out due to fire, and she was helping her.
Oh, nice. Very good. Thank you. That's always a wonderful thing. Senseless acts of kindness. Random senseless acts of kindness is what makes the world go around. But anyhow, going on the rest of this, I saw a video. I'm going to try making it, where a guy made a fan completely out of wood that runs with absolutely no electricity off of 3 rubber bands. And all you got to do is get it started. And it's a perpetual motion thing.
Yeah, which can help in situations like Jason, for example, who has problems in the summertime if there's an air movement. Sure, you might not necessarily be able to cool it, but even just the movement of the air cools it a bit.
Yep.
And that would help him potentially with his asthma. It's not a end-all be-all, but it would do as a stopgap measure.
Oh, I don't know. I think depending on the rubber bands, if you get it going.
And I'm thinking if you had like a candle going, for example, and one of those fans you were just talking about, would that not circulate a bit of the heat? Potentially.
It could. It may negate the heat, depending on the size of the fan.
Yeah.
So if you get more fan moving and cooling air than you have producing heat, then it's not going to work too well.
No.
But even here's another one, guys, and this is this is a complete and total redneckism. I will own it, no problem. You can take a 2x4 and drill 1-inch holes into it. Drill 3 of them, and space them out a little bit. And you want to make sure you're doing this back away a little bit from your house, because if you don't, I don't want anybody burning their house down. But you can take a 55-gallon drum and drill 1-inch holes in the bottom of that, and then take 1-inch iron pipes, plumbing pipes, plug them into the bottom of, not completely the bottom, but close to the bottom of the 55-gallon drum. Do a 90-degree angle that comes out of the 55-gallon drum and then goes horizontal with another 90-degree angle to where you have those 1-inch holes in the wood, and then lift up your one window, like in a living room or somewhere on a ground floor, and position that 2x4 in the window and close it back down. Now make sure your pipes are sticking out the bottom, not in the bottom, but sticking out the bottom of the 55-gallon drum. Start a fire in the 55-gallon drum. Doesn't have to be a huge fire. You can run it off of small logs and coal. But what will happen is the air will get drawn in at the bottom of the 55-gallon drum. It will follow the horizontal, go up the 90-degree angle so that you're going up the entire side across the bottom and up the entire side of the 55-gallon drum, turning an angle and then going into the 1-inch holes in your 2x4 in the room. This will draw clean air. It doesn't draw the smoke. The smoke goes up. It will draw clean air in, through, up, and by convection will draw the air up through and spit it out into the room and warm your and heat your room up. People do this. If you look, people do this with tents in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Themselves warm in tents in the wintertime.
Well, you can even take a tin can and use it as a little tiny stove too.
Yeah, but I wouldn't in the house. That's the thing.
No, but I mean, like when you're desperate.
Yeah, doing this outside, or you could you have a bigger fire pit or whatever. Just the idea is to get the pipes low, and then have them pull across and then go over. So you've got the pipes down in the coals that are down there, and then they're superheating as the air goes up, and it spits out into the house. And that doesn't take an ounce of electricity whatsoever. But like I said, make sure whatever your fire source is, you have it far enough away from the house where you're not going to have the wind blow, or you're not going to start a fire on the house. Please take care and make sure that it's a potentially dangerous way, but it is a good way of doing it as well.
Right, Evie. I try and practice this as much as we can here too. When the sun is out, on the side that the sun is hitting, keep your windows and blinds closed.
Yep.
And that'll help keep your home cooler. And if you're lucky, like Sleepless, she lives in a stone house. She actually, I believe, lives in a church that's been converted.
Yep.
And she's forever saying that they don't need AC because it keeps it really cool in the house.
Yeah. But that's another thing with the blinds. If you have blinds that absorb sunlight in any way, shape, or form, you want to do two things. In the wintertime, turn those blinds so that they're angled inward and up. Because what will happen is the sun will hit that, it'll warm it up, and that heat will come into the room. In the summertime, turn it so that they're pointed out towards the window. That way, when the heat hits it, the sun hits it and it heats up, it'll go back towards the window and not into the room as much. They'll still heat up and warm the room a little bit, but nowhere near as much as if you have them turned in. My office, I have black blinds, and I come in the morning and the sun is beating on our side of the building, and I have to, even in the wintertime, I have to turn the AC on and the fan on in order to cool the room off enough so that I'm not sitting back in my chair.
Kim, those blackout curtains that you guys can get actually are very good insulators as well.
Yep.
They can help to keep the cold out.
And I also highly recommend having dogs.
Yeah.
So dogs are wonderful. They will snuggle up to you. As Misty will tell you, sometimes they'll snuggle up.
If you want, can you share one of those pictures that you took?
I don't know if I can do that, but I'll try. Hold on.
Yeah, guys. If he's able to do it, I'll show you what happens with me when I try and go have a nap or sleep in general.
Yeah, and you'll have to forgive me. Part of why I was quiet there for a little bit was I got an alert that someone over in England, yes, bloody England, was trying to hack me. So apparently the Chinese have been working on it for a little while. Okay.
Yeah, Mary, it's surprising how the simplest things that you don't necessarily think of can make a big difference in helping somebody. Like a lot of people give clothes and stuff.
There you go.
Oh, you got it?
Yep.
Okay.
Welcome to Mama Sleeping with the Dogs. So as you can see, she's on her side. Harley is at her back. Sasha, our new one, is heating her front up, and then Ginger is right all along her legs, heating her legs up. And
Yeah. So I don't stand a chance of getting cold.
and don't let her fool you. She wasn't asleep here. She was
I was
giggling.
just laying there.
She was giggling because I was taking the photo. So
But that's the normal. I can't move without having a dog. Yeah, Mary, but that just says, sad as it sounds, that's the way society is in a lot of ways. Like we made somebody cry at the grocery store. An older couple was going around and I overheard them say a couple times, like, we just can't afford that. And it was basic stuff.
well,
Like we're talking like
I'll give you I'll give you a great example. Um, you guys have seen we've had her up here. We haven't had her up here for a while, but
yeah, they are, Kim.
Lost for Words is
Mhm.
actually down in North Carolina with her fiance Brian, and they are not far away from the area that was tore up by Hurricane Helena. They are still, as of right now, struggling to get people housed, to get basic services
Mhm.
back up and running in all the places. They're still looking for, missing people and animals. And you don't hear jack shit about it on the news or in the newspapers or anywhere else. However, God forbid, Hollywood is on fire, and we've got, and I'm not being political here. I'm not going to say which way I think. This ain't what this is about. But we got the president goes on saying that he's going to do a 100% restoration, and they're going to pull out all the stops, and there's no end of it, to make sure that everything is 100% restored back in Hollywood. Well, you know, I'm sorry. Maybe this is an asshole move, but the people, the Hollywood people, have had money, privilege, spoons. They got a lot of stuff that the rest of us don't have. They get privilege when they end up in court.
Good night, Doris. Love you.
Um, it's God. I really don't want to sound like a jackass about this, but I will. It's almost, and again, I don't wish ill on anybody, and it sucks that they're going through this, but they're now feeling a little bit of what the rest of us and what the North Carolinians have felt. And you didn't hear anything about anybody being made ambassadors to North Carolina to fix things. Yet we got ambassadors to Hollywood to fix things.
Hmm.
And that's all I'm going to say about that. If we're going to fix things, fix it the same for everybody. We're coming up on a holiday here in the States where a man was assassinated for fighting for equal rights. It's a wonderful time to remember we all put our pants on one leg at a time. Some of us, have and are able to do more than some other folks have and are able to do. And I'm not saying we're in great shape, but it's taken most of my working life to get to the point where I can support the family without having to carry two jobs. Um, And it would be nice to see some of those folks use not only their own money to restore things, but also send some of that money down to North Carolina now that they've experienced what some of the folks in North Carolina have, to get that going and to get them help. So I'm going to stop because
Yeah.
it's not meant to be on a soapbox, but it's one of those things that really pissed me off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you stop and think about it, guys. Like my whole point is there is so much that you can
And
do
Florida,
to
I'm sorry,
help others that doesn't cost a penny. Like if there's homeless people that you know are cold and you've got like some clothing you were going to donate anyways, why not take that clothing and give it to a homeless person?
many
Or if
years
you've
ago.
got extra food, give it to a homeless person. I'm not saying bring that person into your home, but I'm saying like that could be you
Yeah.
very easily, especially in this day and age.
Yeah. Many years ago, when country was young and not as wise, um, there was a news article that was done on a homeless group that was homesteading in one of the abandoned apartment buildings down in DC. And several of us that worked together saw it. And Country had a small pickup truck at the time and gathered up supplies, clothing, sleeping bags, blankets, pillows, toys for the kids, for the homeless people. It was a big,
Yeah.
yeah. I used to be young. Um, they ain't young no more. Um, and I took all this stuff down to DC and found this is before GPS, by the way, so you had to use a foldable map. Those of you millennials that don't know about these things, they're things that came along before your phone told you turn right up ahead. So I managed to find myself down onto the site and got the stuff into them, and they were set to have another um, interview with one of the local newscasters that evening, and wanted to spruce up the place. Now, again, like I said, this place has been abandoned, so there weren't windows in it or a lot of the other stuff. Um, what they wanted to do was they wanted to put up plastic over the windows and then paint, the crosshairs, the crossbars, like the doors behind me here. So it looked like from a distance, actual windows, and make it look a little bit better. So there you go, Scott. That's it. Yeah, see, parents will do that. That's also what the wives were doing when the guys were driving.
I
So
heard that.
they weren't just spectators like somebody I can mention. Um, anyhow, um, I went and I got the paint and I got the plastic and I got the tape for them to tape the plastic up, and was bringing armfuls of these supplies back in, and apparently somebody must have seen when I dropped the stuff off the first time and called the cops, because the cops were all over the place and they stopped me before I got to the building. Now the folks that were there saw me, and the cops basically told me I had two choices. I could either turn around and walk away, or I could walk away in bracelets. So I got the eyes of one of the homeless people in the building, kind of lifted my arms up to show everybody, turned around and walked around one side of the building, which was away from the cops and everything, and dropped the stuff off in a corner, and then turned around and made my way back to the truck. And that evening, I think they found it because that evening, when they did the interview, they had the windows and everything set up. So, but yeah, trying to help the homeless, and damn near got arrested for it.
Yeah, Eddie's got a good point, and it's the same point Jason's coming up with. And I've seen it so many times, like it really makes me hurt inside when I see a lot of people in government are discouraging people from helping. It's not costing them anything.
Yeah.
But like they're afraid, well, we don't want the homeless hanging around, or they're all bad news, or whatever, or they're all drug addicts. That is not the case. I know of so many people that are working 2 and 3 jobs right now that can't afford food and a roof over their head and all of that. It's just that's the way things have gotten. It's gotten to the point where it's unless it's fixed, it's not sustainable. It's not. No, you can't, Dan. You can't force anybody to do anything they don't choose to.
Yep.
And jail isn't the solution. And I'm not
We actually have more people incarcerated per capita than any other country in the world.
And like, I'm not, don't get me wrong, guys, I'm not slamming the government. In a lot of ways, as a society, we're all at fault.
Yeah.
We have all allowed things to get to this point.
Yeah.
It's not just the government. We're the ones that put them in there. We're the ones that, by either not saying anything or not doing anything or whatever, we're the ones that are allowing it to continue.
Yeah. We used to be informed. We used to stand up for what was right. We used to know our neighbors and interact with our neighbors and work together. You know,
It used to be that you take a child, and it's going to sound stupid, but it really makes sense. It takes a child, it takes a community to raise a child.
Yeah.
It takes a community to help. It takes a community to be a family. You don't have to love your neighbor. You
but
don't.
you have to respect them.
But you need to treat them the way you want to be treated.
Yep.
Do you want somebody looking down on you because your circumstances took a turn for the worse? That doesn't change your hopes, your dreams, your needs.
Thank you, Eddie and Jen.
And Jason and I have talked about that, guys. We have seriously talked about buying one of these abandoned villages to help people and do a community like where, okay, you don't have money, for example, to pay rent. Fine, you pay it in other ways.
Yep.
You help maintain the property. You help if there's a garden or animals. You donate your time. You contribute to the community. Like, for example, the people have kids and they have jobs. So set up somebody that's not able to work but is still able to manage, like a daycare. That could be their contribution for their rent.
Yeah. There's a new thing that they've got, and I'm not sure I'm saying the right words, and if I'm not, don't crucify me over it. But there's a new thing that's going around that's called agro hoods. And basically what they do is they take a 1, 2, 3, or 4
Is that
acre.
the dog?
Yeah, that's Harley's tail.
Okay.
Plot of land, and they build around it. But that plot of land is left open. It's not a playground. It's not a park. they turned it into a giant garden in the middle, and everybody that lives bordering that property is responsible for working that garden, and then they also share everybody in the crops that they grow out of that garden. Now it's not enough to replace, going to the grocery store or anything else, but oh my God, you know,
It serves more purposes than that, though. It serves building community, gives them an investment in that community.
I'll give you the simplest damn thing. Misty and I had 24 totes of plants that we did this past year in our garden.
Mhm.
About half of them were tomatoes, and every time the tomatoes ripened up, we brought them in, set them, clean them up in the bowl, filled up a gallon Ziploc bag, freezer bag, and stuck them in the freezer. And we got done, and we had what, 10 bags?
I think so.
10 bags, and some of them were the little grape tomatoes, some of them were the Roma size, and some of them, a couple of them were
It
even
was
the
a
bigger,
mixture.
the bigger beef eater ones. It's all different sizes. And we turned around and rendered it down, and first time ever made our own spaghetti sauce.
Yeah.
Never done it before. Misty followed a recipe that she got online, and we cranked out 13 jars, pint jars of tomato spaghetti sauce.
Well, it's all-purpose sauce. You can use it in multiple things.
Well,
But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But we used two of them in one of her macaroni and tomatoes. Some people call it goulash. Um, but also with other vegetables that we'd done out of our garden, celery and peppers and onions.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um,
Jace, I'm not gonna try to interrupt you. I've actually got my camera set up, guys. Ignore my mess in my office. It's a work in progress. But I'll pull it up so everybody can see what's going on while we're talking.
yeah. And actually, some of the best flavor that we've ever had. Now, is that
Mhm.
going to replace going to a grocery store? Period. Nah, it's not. But
No,
2 pints will do us for
a meal.
spaghetti, or for her goulash, or for a lot of things. So that's at least 6 meals that we've got covered there that we've saved
Mhm.
money on. Is it the end all be all? No. But what it taught us is that this year coming, two things. First thing, we're going to take the damn skin off the tomatoes. That was a mistake, but that's okay. Live and learn. And the second thing is we're going to double the amount of tomatoes that we freeze, and do it in quart jars this time. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get her a bigger stock pot too. Shit. So
Yeah. Like, you got to understand, guys, we're learning about this stuff same as you guys are.
yep.
That's why we're saying, like, any suggestions whatsoever are welcome.
Yep. And that's a big part of what
And
this
it's me
is
you see
for.
moving, guys,
That's
in
a
the
big
corner.
part of what this is for. Is for us to get together and share out. If you've got a family hack, a family recipe, a family, well, not
Mhm.
necessarily a family secret, but something that the family has done that's helped in hard times. Well, hey,
Mhm.
you know what? Let's share it. Let's get it out there.
Because you don't know who's watching this that may need that.
Yep. So ooh, Mary forgot to tell you crap. She's going to tell you crap now.
That's cool.
Sorry, Mary, I had to do
Yeah, Dan.
that.
Yeah, like a good example with me doing the CNA. I love helping people. And one of the things, like we always cook, as you guys know, we always have leftovers. I wanted to take some of those leftovers and take them to a senior that needed help. And it's not like it's costing us anything more. We already have it, it's there. But I was actually told that you can't do that because of liability.
Yep. Yep. Now, good Lord willing and the creek don't rise. Um, I'm looking towards getting a freeze dryer, a small freeze dryer this year. And we've already got the meal saver
Mhm.
machine and the little air packets that go in with it. And good Lord willing and the creek don't rise, what we will do is take some of our leftovers and freeze dry them. And we'll do that
Mhm.
with the veggies before they go nasty, and the fruits. Well, maybe not the fruits. I'm still waiting on somebody to dehydrate my apples.
Yeah,
Uh,
I know.
but we're gonna start freeze drying meals, and then when we have the chickens, the extra eggs that we have, we'll get them all in this new big bowl that I got Misty, and mix them up so that they're all scrambled. Pour them into the trays, and
Cute, Dan.
here's the thing, ladies and gents. I've listened to the YouTube channelers on this. When you do that, do it relatively close to the freeze dryer, and do not fill the tray up all the way to the top because you will slop it. So basically, you push it in, freeze dry it, and it comes out, and you break it up into chunks, put it into a food processor, and it powders it. So you have, honest to God, real powdered eggs, not egg whites, not those fake eggs that your grandfather sits and bitches about because his cholesterol and everything. But you've got
Hmm.
real eggs that you can use to rehydrate and use in uh, baking and other things.
Yeah.
Um, so there's a lot of stuff. The neat thing with the leftovers is once you get them into that pouch and you suck the air out of them and you put that little packet in, those can stay for 5-10 years, no problem. All you have to do, or even longer. So they say they can stay up to 25. If they stay up to 10 years, I'm happy. If I've got 10 years worth of Misty's chicken dumplings,
If they last that long, because again, we're not hardcore preppers, guys. Whatever we do it so that we have it to use.
yep.
I'm not intending to stick it on a shelf somewhere and just forget about it.
No, no. And mostly it's because I'm sorry, when we make things and we got, you know, 6 or 8 containers of
He
leftovers,
likes to share things, guys. He takes it to work.
you can only eat so much of it. By the third day of eating goulash, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
goulash is getting a little old. By the third day of spaghetti, I'm sorry, spaghetti's getting a little old. Now, I haven't run into a situation where by day 3 chili's getting old yet, but Misty will tell you that on day 3 she's not happy that I'm still eating chili. We'll let it go at that. You can use your imaginations for the rest.
Yeah, he gets rather nasty, just like most people.
So, um, but yeah, we've been doing dehydrating. Misty has dehydrated dill and parsley and mint, rosemary,
Yeah, Kim, did you
oregano.
know that you can make stuff like mozzarella cheese and that out of your powdered milk?
No, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. That's another thing. That's another thing we'll do is we'll sit here one time and we'll show you how to make. We'll show you how to make your
I'm
own.
right here, Scott. The one you're seeing me move in the corner, if that's what you're talking about. But yeah, there are a lot of orbs here, and there have been full-figured stuff. And like, don't get me wrong, guys, I'm still paranormal. I'm always going to be into the paranormal. That's just my life. That's who I am.
Which is the same as Abby normal.
Yeah, they don't give me a choice. But yeah, we want to use this channel as a way to help people in more ways than just paranormal. Right, Scott? I just thought I'd show you where I was so that you knew for sure. But yeah, like I don't feel that a channel needs to be just one thing. My channel is a community of people that are coming together for whatever reason. I don't want people feeling that they can only reach out to me if it's paranormal. Yeah, exactly, Kim. There's multiple things that can be done with the stuff you have every day in your kitchen.
Yeah. Oh, tell them about saving eggshells.
Oh, yeah. I started saving eggshells because my mom actually sent me a video about putting them around my plants. Because it keeps
we had a little issue with slugs.
Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of people that were gardening did this year. But not only does it keep away the pests and stuff, but it also adds minerals to your dirt.
Oh,
I try not to nag, Scott, but I end up doing it anyways. I think it's just the nature of the beast.
Yep, I can attest to that.
Jason?
What? I could bring Nicholas on. You want to talk about nag? We'll bring Nicholas on.
No, Christina, that's not what I'm talking about, eating slugs. I'm saying that the eggshells help to keep the slugs out.
Yes.
And it's also good for, like, birds will come and pick it up. I noticed that. They'll steal it on you. But, like, with me growing the herbs, I don't want any chemicals whatsoever on something that I'm going to be using as medicine. So I'm trying to come up with natural ways. Yeah, that orb was interesting. It kind of comes straight out and then angled. Actually, Christina, if you can get some mint and soak it in oil, even cooking oil, and spray your plants a little bit around the base on the dirt, it'll stop them. That, or the other thing you could do is get some kind of lizard or something that'll eat them. Hey, Scott. They're coming to see you. There's one that's kind of popping right kind of above my head over.
And I may get Misty to put a video together. I am going to do, and she's going to go, ugh.
What?
I saw a video on pizza popcorn.
Yeah, Mary.
Let me tell you.
Popcorn. Ooh.
Pizza popcorn. Yeah, this looked awesome. Take cubed pepperoni, not the pepperoni slices, but you do it when it's in the small cubes. Cook that up in a frying pan and save the grease. When you take the pepperoni out, make sure you do it in a slotted spoon so as much of the grease drips back in as possible. Put the pepperoni the cooked pepperoni onto a plate or into a bowl that's lined with paper towels so it soaks up that grease, because you don't want greasy pepperoni going back into it. But then you take your popcorn kernels and you dump them down into the pepperoni grease and put your cover on and do the shake-a and cook it up in the popcorn or the pepperoni grease. Once it's all cooked, take it off the heat. Make sure you shake it around so all the grease gets into the popcorn. Take the lid off and you add paprika, oregano, salt, and garlic, I think it is. And put that back in and shake it around. Make sure you mix it in through everything. Then put the pepperoni back in, shake it in, the cubed pepperoni in, shake it in, and then there you go. Because you got pizza popcorn. Potato chip sandwich. Yeah, I tried that a couple of times.
Yeah, potato chips are good on anything.
Oh.
Thank you, Elaine. Yeah, and just so you know, guys, I have the vent in here blocked, trying to get the heat to go to the rest of the house. That's why there's a little heater in here. So those ornaments that are hanging there, that's not because of the vent. That's the spirits playing. Same with the curtain moving. But I'm going to drop my camera for just a second so I can blow my nose. I'll be right back.
Yeah, Dan sent me something. Dan, I got a question. What is boneless and fries? Boneless what? Or do I want to know? Rest of it made sense.
Yeah, it is, Kim. Bacon grease is amazing for cooking with anything.
Yes, it is. And so is lard. And I'm gonna tell you right here, right now, when we go up, every time we go up to get our meat pack, and we'll probably have to do it again in March.
No.
Maybe before then. We'll see. We're there's a lot of damn chicken. Oh, holy shit! Let me tell you. Anybody ever wondered how long and how far you can stretch 40 pounds of chicken thighs? You can stretch them a long fucking way. I'm here to tell you. Yeah. But when we go up, when we put our order in, we usually call it in a week at the beginning of the week and tell them we'll be up the following weekend and have them collect fat for us so that Misty can render it down. So, and then we sit there and I sharpen the knives up for a little bit, and then we sit and we have a cut the fat party. And that's the other thing, guys. A lot of this stuff, you can do. I just saw something go across your screen, babe.
That I'm having a cigarette.
Oh, okay.
So if there's a mist, it's probably picking up my cigarette.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm looking at it going, shit, something went across the fish tank.
Yeah.
That's one of the other things is, if you can do this with
K2 is right there, guys.
Yeah, if you can do this with your spouse, your girlfriend, it's actually it's a wonderful thing to be able to do together. Especially when they call you over and they go, look, see all the crackling that's in there? Now, that's the other thing. Is the crackling that you end up with, it's small stuff. I have not been able to figure out a recipe to use it with yet, but so help me, I will, because it's tasty stuff.
Yeah,
It's not pig skins.
yeah. And Scott, there is one of those cat balls right here.
You know what?
What?
I'm gonna go look again. Oh shit! Look at that. Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, and Scott, you got to realize something. I'm so used to it, I don't even notice half the time. We've had stuff like Jason was talking about. You see the windows behind Jason? That's our French doors that go to the kitchen. There's a hutch on the other side of that, so there's no way you can see anybody walking by. Earlier, before we went live, I actually saw a tall, dark figure walk across that window, even though it's blocked. You can't, there's no way. Like, you would have to be paper thin to fit between. And like, there was a live stream where actually, I think it was a private, wasn't it, Mary? We were doing a private where the spirits moved my wooden stand out from the wall. I think that was a private. I'm not sure. I can't remember.
I just solved our crackling thing.
No.
I feel stupid. I didn't think about it before. Put it in the dehydrator to get all the liquid out of it,
Mm-hmm.
and crunch it down a little bit more, and use it as breading.
No. And it's like my window here in my office. We have seen figures in that window, but that figure, they would have to be on a ladder, guys, in order to be in that window. But we've seen figures in the window.
And this is a baseball bat that I keep in the office here, tucked right up against the edge of the
Door frame.
And when I was in the kitchen with Misty, nobody was in here. Nothing was around. Nothing was anything. I'm walking back. It's maybe 10 feet from the kitchen to the doorway here. In that time frame, something knocked the bat over onto the floor. And my chair wasn't anywhere close to it.
Well, I've had, tennis balls. You know that they don't generally roll on their own. We have a little lip going from the office into the hallway. And Tommy, a resident spirit that we have here, a child, was trying to play with the dogs, and he rolled the tennis ball out of the office up over that lip. It did a 90-degree turn and came into our kitchen. And I have never seen a dog levitate so high because he rolled it right into the dog's face because the dog was sleeping.
I'm looking, Pam. I'm going to check that out. Thank you.
Yeah, and like there's been times like we had a black rolling chair for a while in our kitchen when Sheriff was staying with us because that was more comfortable for him to sit on.
Doris's chair.
Yeah, and that chair, I'd have my camera going in the kitchen and that chair would actually roll like somebody was pulling it out to sit in it.
Yeah. Hey, babe, we might want to wind this up and at it for an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's getting a little long.
Yeah. That's one of the other things we're trying to do, guys, is cut this back a little bit so it's not a marathon for everybody. We
Yeah.
both been on those marathon ones where it goes 4, 5, 6 hours, and by the time you get done, everybody's a little.
Yeah, and I want to reiterate, guys, if you have any suggestions for different websites, even or whatever, if you could go in after I shut this down and just put it in a comment, or you can go to my community tab. I'll set up a thing for comments and suggestions on my community tab, and you could go there and put your suggestions. And or if you're interested in coming up on panel, let me know. And we can have more talks like we had tonight.
We're not the only people that do this, I'm sure.
Oh no, like I'm not trying to turn this into a prepper channel because yeah, right. Mary, that was crazy when that dog walked through. And yeah, like we're not just paranormal. It's just like anybody in real life is not just one thing or another. We're made up of a whole bunch of things.
Yep.
And a whole bunch of people with different ideas, different thoughts.
Yep.
There's an orb, a big one.
What'd you call me?
An orb.
I kind of like
that. And that's never a bad idea to write down stuff because you never know. Evie, I'm hoping he's okay. We haven't heard from him in a long time.
Yeah. I did see he has posted a few things. I don't think it was on his sheriff channel. He's posting in Facebook, but I don't think he's posted on YouTube. I think when he was having his issues with other people way back when he was up here, well, before and then when he was up here with us, he pretty much gave up on YouTube and went to a number of different
platforms,
sites and platforms. I'm not sure where he's at. I saw him on 4 or 5 different ones, including TikTok and others, although I don't know if TikTok is one we can really use much of anymore. So.
Yeah, they're getting really active now. But yeah, no, I don't consider myself a prepper per se, Dan. Homesteading, yes, I'm very keen on getting into homesteading.
So.
That's not good, Dan.
So for those of you wondering, I just opened up the water, Bob, just to see. And
yeah, like I'm gonna start putting a lot of stuff on my community tab, guys. Like different suggestions for books. I know it gets costly after a while buying books, believe me, I know. But like Sleepless just said, in a lot of ways it is better to have a hard copy of something. Or do like Kim said, she takes a lot of notes. She sees something, she writes it down. So that way you have it to look back on.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, Evie, so do I. We have an amazing used bookstore here. It's actually about an hour and a half away from us, Jay.
Yeah, Mama's Mecca.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll go in there. Like I have bookcases all over the place, and I got piles of books all over the place. I'm an avid reader.
I can drop her off and come pick her up in about 2 hours, and she still isn't done.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I haven't even got close to the checkout.
Yeah, and not that I do that. So I've got a stack of books myself, just not the same stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So mine's more cooking. We both dabble into the self-help and I don't want to say survival, but nothing better survival. Also, some of the medical books, for first aid and stuff. Um, that's another one we'll get into once I have the tote fully prepped. We'll break into it. You should have some type of a decent first aid kit.
Yeah.
That's another thing, and that can help for any kind of a situation.
Believe it or not, you can close an open wound. Like if you've got a cut that needs stitches, you can use duct tape and thread, guys, or string to close that wound. You don't actually have to stitch it per se.
You can also use super glue, but we won't go there.
No, super glue is actually toxic.
It's toxic, but it's also in a pinch. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not saying it is. It's just.
It ain't the first choice, put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, like I'll be putting more links to different stuff up on my channel. You guys can check out and take it or leave it. Like it may help you, it may not. It may not be something you're interested in.
Yep.
But not everybody's aware of all of the things that are available. Sort of thing. But I'm going to close it out, guys, because it's almost 2 hours. I did not plan on being on here. I'm sorry for that long. I didn't mean to manipulate your time. But I love you guys. And we will talk again, not next Saturday, but the Saturday after. We're going to try and go every other Saturday.
Yippers.
So bless you guys and have a really good weekend and be safe. Yeah, Kim, I'm forever sending you and Elaine links. Probably too many, actually. Because I see something that interests me and think you might like it.
Actually,
good night.
It's what lets me know she's up in the morning, because all of a sudden my cell phone starts going ding, ding, ding.
Cute, Dan. Night, guys.
Good night, guys.